In this lecture, I'm going to show you the concept of type assertions in TypeScript. So I'm going to start by declaring a variable like message and setting it to a string. Now here we can type message dot, and look, we get this beautiful IntelliSense. And in this tooltip, we can see all the things we can do with a string. So all these items with these purple icons are functions. For example, we have this function called ends with. We can call this and see if this message ends, let's say, with C. And this returns a Boolean. So we can store the result in another variable like ends with C. However, sometimes TypeScript may be a little bit confused about the type of a variable. For example, I'm going to remove this initialization here and initialize this variable on the second line, ABC. Now look at the type of this message variable. It's any, because by default, when we don't set a value, the type is any. Now the problem here is that if I delete this and type period, look, we don't get that IntelliSense anymore. Because ends with is something that we can do with a string, not with an object of type any. So what should we do? In this case, we need to explicitly tell TypeScript compiler that this message variable is actually a string. And this is what we call type assertions. Now, how do we do type assertions? There are two ways. One way is to prefix this variable with angle brackets. And here we put the type, like string. Now we need to enclose both these parts in parentheses, like this. Then, if we press period, we get our beautiful IntelliSense with all the functions or methods available on string objects. Now there is also another way to do type assertion. So let's change the name of this variable to alternative way. And here, instead of angle brackets, we use message as string. They're exactly the same. The approach you choose is purely your personal preference. But the first approach is what you see more in a lot of tutorials and code bases out there. Now, I just want to clarify something here. This type assertion does not change the type of this variable at runtime. In fact, it's not going to restructure that object in memory. It's purely a way to tell TypeScript compiler about the type of a variable, so we can access the IntelliSense.